All right. BRF, I'll let you go with this one. Favorite R-Truth moment.
Huh. Oh man. He's got he's got so many. He's got so many. Um
I'm sorry, I got to steal this one. The little Jimmy.
yes. I mean that's definitely up there. Like when he like when they initially turned him heel that second WWE run and he just flipped his lid to the point of little Jimmy. That oh man, and the fact that I think only R Truth could have got that as over as he did. That was crazy. Um, but like the TNA run, he's a two, and people don't understand the significance of what I'm about to say. He is a two-time former NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. People do not understand the significance of what just came out of my mouth when I say that. Black man at that. He is a two-time NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. I feel like the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion is arguably the most prestigious championship ever created by man. When you look at the lineage who's held that belt, from the Ric Flairs, the Harley Races, the Dusty Rhodes, like everyone that's held that championship, and the fact that R Truth is in that lineage as being the first black man to hold that championship is one of the craziest things you will ever hear. But at the time, it was like R Truth is such a good it's and still to this day he is still a really good wrestler. But TNA, like he was one of the best wrestlers in that company. So I mean it was justified and it was deserved when they actually gave him the NWA World Heavyweight title. So him winning the championship for the first time is definitely one of my favorite moments. Him finally getting the WrestleMania win last year in Philly, him and Miz winning the Raw Tag Team Championships, which ultimately became the World Tag Team titles. That was amazing because we because that's probably one of the things that R-Truth was missing as far as his career. Like we know how many we know. I mean the 24/7 title was like one of the funniest things I've ever seen too. The 24/7 title was insane. uh just like the vignettes, like especially when it was him and Carmella was like his little shield, and they were just going all over the place, whether it was Jinder Mahal chasing after him, whether it was friggin' like I mean it got to the point where it was like like Akira Tozawa. Like it got to the point where he was chasing him. And then it gets to the point that wedding scene on that wedding skit on Monday Night Raw where like our truth was supposed to be marrying like Akira Tozawa and Tamina, and it was just like it's oh my gosh, like our truth is like one of the most entertaining people this company has ever had, and I hate it. I hate it that he's they're gonna let his contract run out. They're not gonna bring him back. But it just so many things, and one of my favorite interests of all time too. One of my favorite interests of all time because he's a really good entertainer. He's a really good artist. He's a really good rapper. So if you go back to his first run when he was K Quick, him and Road Dogg, the performances going out to the ring during the entrance, and then debuting the R Truth character, the performance just going down the ring and just you kind of hate it. You kind of hate it. He didn't get like I mean he won championships. I mean he won championships. I mean he was a U.S. champion. He was a tag team champion. He did get one kind of push as a heel where he did get to compete for the WWE title against John Cena. But just the comedy, just the entertainment, so many like there's probably more R Truth moments that I didn't name. Oh, real quick before I let Champ go, let me tell you something. His work with the Judgment Day, like, bro, I have never Damian Priest. People know, Champ knows how big of a Damian Priest supporter I've been really since his time in the Judgment Day, and then when he broke away, and now seeing what he's doing. I felt for Damian Priest so much every time he was in a skit with R-Truth, because R-Truth is one of those, he tries to break you on purpose. And Damian Priest, God bless his soul, could never keep a straight face with that man in any of those skits to save my life, to save his life. The one particular one where he was talking to him and he was like, "You changed. How you felt changed about me. I could see it in your eyes." And you just see Damian Priest look away. I'm like, oh my God. Like, just R-Truth was just like, R-Truth just make everything like, he could take something that's not fun, that's just not funny at all, and just make it like 10 times that much funnier. Like when Damian Priest first, like when he cashed in and won the World Heavyweight Championship, the scene of Rhea holding the women's world title, Damian Priest is holding the World Heavyweight Championship, and R-Truth just magically pops in the middle of the screen and puts the Raw Tag Team Championship up in between them two, like he's still a member of the Judgment Day. Like, I swear for God, like I'm just like, I felt for him so much. Damian Priest was like, I bet you Damian Priest really wants to cold cock him because he just can't keep a straight face in any of these skits. So man, hey, R-Truth didn't have, he won championships, but honestly, ultimately, we're gonna miss the entertainment factor with him. He is arguably, in my opinion, I think he's the greatest comedy wrestler the WWE has ever had. I mean, you're looking at like him, you're looking at Santino Marella as far as like the greatest comedic wrestlers that company's ever had. I think it's Truth. I mean, like, and the fact that he's like 53 now and don't look a day over 30 and still just doing his thing. Like, shout out to that brother, man, because I laughed so hard through so much of his stuff. Man, I can't pick a favorite because I got too many. I literally laughed out loud at. I got too many of them. So, but yeah, I'm gonna let Champ go because R-Truth. I got to meet that man one day, and I just got to ask him like, what the hell was on your mind through some of them skits? I just got to ask him. And anybody that can make Brock Lesnar break on television, salute.
Undisputed world champ.
You remember when he went to the Money in the Bank promo? And they told him, well, R-Truth, you're not in this, man. You remember when he ran out doing the Women's World Rumble? Remember his the skit with Bobby Lashley where he threw his hands up like this, accidentally slapped Bobby Lashley. He looked up like, oh man, I'd have messed up. Remember when Mayor Kane, won the 24/7 man, won the 24/7 title, and then Kane had got out of the limousine, and then R-Truth pinned him. And then see, Kane was about to choke slam. He said, wait a minute. And he actually talked Kane down, and Kane went on ahead and walked away. R-Truth, man, one of the most serious moments that he had was the moment with Ricky Steamboat in TNA. Where he was telling him, how many shots at the WWF title did you get when you was in there? Knowing how talented that you was. Don't you feel that you got held back? And that's how he was able to get his title shot with at the TNA title. So I think that serious moment gets kind of lost in the works. I think when you're so comical and you're so unserious, that certain serious moments get lost in your career. But I think that segment with him and Ricky Steamboat, of him, because Steamboat should have been the WWE champion. If you really, really want me to be honest, he was a WCW champion when he went over on Ric Flair a few times. But I think he would have been better served as the WWE champion, especially that match that he had at WrestleMania 3 versus Macho Man. But the fact that he brought up that, and that was able to transition him over to being a wrestler that was taken serious in TNA, that's nothing short of amazing. TNA, a lot of the wrestlers that they had, a lot of the talent that they had has to be studied because there was a lot of talent in that company that only the hardcore wrestling fan would understand. When you think about Samoa Joe, when you think about Marcus Corvon, back then he was Monty Brown. You know, when you think about Beer Money, Robert Roode, when you think about The Abyss, when you think about R-Truth, when you think about a lot of those guys who were young and up and coming talent who didn't get to the WWE until later in their career. And they were surrounded by a lot of these legends that had been to WWE and WCW, but they were trying to make their own way. TNA was loaded with talent. They were loaded with talent at one point.
AJ Styles, Kurt Angle.
Yeah, they were loaded with talent. I mean, I'm not just talking about just legends. I'm talking about young talent like AJ Styles, Petey Williams, and all of those guys.
Oh boy.
So all of those guys. The only thing I remember about Petey Williams is Trick Williams making. That's another story for another day. But yeah, TNA was loaded with talent, and the fact that they could break through, he could break through with that talent. And fun thing about what BRF said, he wasn't the first, he was the second. Because remember, Ron Simmons was the first NWA champion that, was the spinoff from WCW. Ron Simmons was the first when he beat Van Vader. I think it was the Great American.
Well, that was the WCW championship that he won, though.
Yeah, but that was NWA WCW. But yeah, that was the WCW was the original National Wrestling Alliance, and it stemmed off from that. So that's how come when you hear about the NWA now, that's why you hear about the Crockett Cup. Jim Crockett was the original promoter of the National Wrestling Alliance. That's why it used to be Jim Crockett Promotions. So yeah, so Jim Crockett was the original owner of WCW.
Right.
Yeah, NWA. So that's why they call it. That's why when you talk about the Crockett Cup, that's how come that holds so much prestige when you hear wrestlers doing that, because of how Jim Crockett was in the Southern Territories that went on to become WCW. And for you to be, and think about that belt back then, especially, you had to put a $20,000 deposit on that belt before you run it. So that way, if you lost it or something like that, you had to put a $20,000 deposit on that belt before you was able to get put over. So big ups to Ron Simmons and Ron the Truth in order to win those belts. Not to mention when he teamed up with Pac-Man. That was memorable. Because remember, Pac-Man couldn't wrestle. So they did a lot of gimmick stuff in order to make sure that Pac-Man Jones didn't break his contract. So I'll never forget one particular match. Pac-Man didn't get tagged in correctly, and he snatched a whole lot of money and just threw it in this guy's face. R-Truth end up pinning the dude because he was distracted by that money. So there was a lot of stuff like that. And then what's so funny about that is years later, Pac-Man Jones couldn't even get his name right, which was kind of crazy if you ask me. So, but yeah, I think that a lot of things was memorable about R-Truth. I mean, you can't forget that ring entrance. What's up? What's up? What's up?
Yeah, I love that.
What's up? What's up? Then to top it all off, what's up? So
dude had so much charisma, man. I mean, charisma definitely can entertain the audience, but the little Jimmy. Like, do you remember when Mr. McMahon and Steve Austin, after the Tough Enough and before he faces John Cena for the title, remember the little Jimmy entrance with him wearing the type of soldier outfit?
Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do.